Yeah, this is treatment range.
These are just random people who eat vitamin D anyway in their diet if they eat animal fat, so this proves nothing.
Okay, well, they're deficient.
Yeah, but it doesn't account for what their diet is.
Well, yes, it does. They're vitamin D deficient, and then they used a plant-based form of vitamin D
is not the best.
to get rid of their deficiency.
I already asked you, how did they conclude that they didn't have the deficiency anymore?
Just by serum levels.
Yeah, which would be the supplement in the blood. That doesn't mean that they have vitamin D, like the actual calcitriol.
Okay, well, after several months of follow-up, I believe that's the only way to determine whether or not you're vitamin D deficient.
Yeah, but they would still only find the supplement in the blood. That doesn't say anything about them having calcitriol anything.
Okay, well, SVERIGE.
Alright, let's see this debate. Cheers, everybody. Hope the live stream works here. Cheers, everybody. Hopefully this is working. We're just watching the VEGANGAINS SUPERFOOD debate. Hopefully this works. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Cheers, everybody. Watermelon juice for life. Alright, I think this is working, guys. It's working. It's just a little laggy. I apologize for the lag. Apologize for the inconvenience here. Cheers, everybody, for the vegan community here. Simple morning sweat.
This is an inexpensive way to treat vitamin D deficiency. It was effective. I don't know what else
happens with this debate.
Yeah, nothing, because you can't prove it. And besides, that, even if there was a supplement out there that would work, which there isn't, maybe not everybody wants to take medicine, right?
Well, wait a second.
Maybe people want to eat food. You ever thought that some people simply want to live in a colder climate, such as one of my friends who lives in Finland, and he wants to eat food. He doesn't want to take drugs or medicine. He simply wants to eat food.
Vitamin D supplements are drugs or medicine. And second, SVERIGE. Okay,
This debate is so funny because it's like they're not even
it is impossible
getting anything out. You know, they're just trying to prove some points. I'm here for entertainment. We got
with
juice.
supplementation, especially through plant sources of vitamin D. Do you have any research on that?
There's never been any research done, that's the thing.
Okay, so then how can you make that claim?
What do you mean? We already went through this.
No, you didn't. Okay, so what evidence do you have to make that claim that it is impossible to treat vitamin D deficiency with plant sources of D?
There isn't evidence for or against, there simply isn't evidence.
Okay, well,
My whole point is that vegans cannot get an animal hormone on a vegan diet.
And you don't need animal hormones. We don't need animal
You don't need
hormones, people.
anything except for simple common sense to understand that they can't get it. If you don't have it in your diet, then you can't get it.
Okay, Sverige, so you make vitamin D through sun exposure, and you can also convert plant forms of
that's why I said
vitamin D to cholesterol.
Yeah, that's why I said Finland, Sweden, Canada, and so on.
Right, and you can convert
Places where
plant
they
sources of vitamin D to cholesterol.
Vitamin D comes from the sun, baby. Get it.
Okay,
50% of your skin.
where
You guys are both vitamin D deficient, I can
I
tell.
just told you. There is no proof either way. Why do you keep asking the same question? If you can't get vitamin D on a vegan diet, then that's it. I don't need to
Mushrooms.
prove that there's.
Cremini
I don't need a study of
mushrooms.
vegans that
Are
have
the
been studied
best.
because they simply haven't. If they can't get it, like, I don't understand.
Sorry for the lag, everybody. Hope you're having a good Mother's Day. Got a syringe vegan gains battle happening. It's pretty entertaining. We'll see what goes down. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just want to enjoy the debate and kind of see what happens. We'll close out some of my tabs here. Maybe that'll help. There we go. Vitamin D is one of those things where they can go through all the studies they want, but it's not going to make a difference. It's just all about experience, and you can't even trust those studies anyway. It's like, why would they just go back and forth between studies? It doesn't make any sense to me. So this is going to be one of those things we've all been kind of waiting for. Syringe and vegan gains obviously came to a conclusion and decided to do a debate. So I think YouTube, like, it's all about these live videos now and like streaming. So people, if you're not into it, I totally get it. Produce not pills, my audio's jacked up, huh? I got the audio right here. Sorry if the audio is not the best. Man, I need to figure out a new audio situation. Give me 2 seconds to figure this out. I need a box or something. Okay. Sorry, as you can tell, the studio here is not the best quality. Let's see if that works for the audio. Is that better? Got the microphone right here. So hopefully the audio quality is better. Sorry for the video quality and like the lag on the stream. Not sure what to do about it. I might try a different streaming software a little bit later. We shall see what happens. I'm going to turn this down just a tiny bit. Hopefully the mic picks it up. I actually should put headphones on real quick. If I can find my headphones. This is going to be good, guys.
Percent what you don't get. Like, if a baby doesn't have a toy, then it simply doesn't have the toy. I don't need to prove that the babies don't have toys.
No headphones. Sorry. Man, I am really messing up.
Give me one moment. I'm taking a look at another study.
I can't find it. I can't find headphones. Sorry. Headphones aren't going to happen. Hopefully the audio
Your appeal to
quality
studies
is
and authority is
better.
magnetic, by the way.
Okay, well, that's the most accurate means of, that's the best means of looking at data, like of finding out the truth. Why would I just make assumptions?
Well, you don't need to.
Okay, well,
everybody understands that there is no vitamin D in a vegan diet.
Okay,
You don't need a
Sverige.
study for that.
Okay, Sverige. There are vegan sources of vitamin D, and you can convert, vegan sources of.
Stream quality okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Vitamin D, like what's that? Ergocalciferol to cholecalciferol.
Vitamin D, by definition, is an animal hormone. There are no vegan sources. You're talking about pre-vitamin, pretty much, just like beta carotene and vitamin A. Beta carotene is not a vitamin, same as the.
True. That's true. Okay.
B2 is also not a vitamin.
Okay, that's true. Give me 1 second. I'm almost done looking up some research with vitamin D2 and D3.
There we go.
Okay, so I found 2 studies. One of them is a meta-analysis. So I guess I'll reference the meta-analysis first. Comparison of vitamin D2 and vitamin D3 supplementation in raising serum 25-hydroxy vitamin D status. So that is the that's what they look for on a blood test to see if you're vitamin D deficient. A systematic review and meta-analysis. So I don't know too much about vitamin D, but that seems to be the active form in the human body, 25-dehydroxy vitamin D. So what they found was vitamin D2 supplementation does elevate levels of 25-hydroxy vitamin D, but it's not as good at doing that as vitamin D3. So you can raise vitamin D levels in the body with vitamin D2, so plant form of vitamin D. Wait, what was the plant form called? It's ergocalciferol, vitamin D2. So you can use ergocalciferol to raise 25-hydroxy vitamin D
plant-based mushrooms
in human serum.
Simple. On to the next
What's the study called?
Okay, so it's comparison of vitamin D2 and vitamin D3 supplementation in raising serum 25-hydroxy vitamin D status. A systematic review and meta-analysis. Sorry, everyone, my Google Chrome is just completely fucked right now. Everything's frozen, and it's just not getting better.
By the way, one question. So your ideal world would be everybody eating plants and taking medicine from pharmaceutical companies. That's what you want people to do, and you don't. Of course, you have no empathy for humans. We just want to eat food, right?
Man, syringe just coming out with
vitamin D deficiencies are extraordinarily common, and especially among people with darker skin.
Yeah,
so this has nothing to do with vegan versus meat. Meat eaters get vitamin D deficiencies.
Chaga mushroom, get your melanin.
No, somebody who only eats animal fat couldn't even possibly get it. If they 50 to 70% animal fat as a natural, it would be obviously impossible.
Okay, well, Sverige, what are the highest sources of vitamin D on, what are the best sources of vitamin D on animal-based diet?
That's exactly the point, and this is why what you call meat eaters, quote unquote, are deficient because they don't eat actual meat. They are afraid of fat because of the dietary guidelines of today. So as I showed before, the brain of the animal, that's the highest source of vitamin D. So I'm in the sun a lot also because I can't see sunlight.
Okay, well, Sverige, what if somebody doesn't want to eat a brain?
Well,
they just don't like the taste.
That wouldn't even be possible. It just tastes like eggs, pretty much. Everybody likes the taste.
I hate the taste of eggs. Even before, when I ate meat and ate eggs, I hated the taste of eggs.
Cooked eggs?
It's not real food.
Both cooked or raw.
Notice they're not ever going to talk about the spiritual or metaphysical properties or karma or energy. This is all very surface.
Okay, well, I've known some people who have eaten bread and they said they hated the taste.
It's just really not worth talking about because it's so common and there's a lot of variables in this type of conversation.
They ended up eating brain.
Yeah, but what do they generally eat? Absolute shit, processed food. So they never even ate that before.
Okay, well, Sverige,
nobody in nature has ever said that they don't like the taste of raw animal foods. It's only modern slaves who would say that. So how is that even relevant?
Okay, well, Sverige, you just made an appeal to personal preference. Some people personally prefer not to take supplements, while some people personally prefer not to eat
Big
animals.
misconception between the pharmaceutical companies
Some people
and
personally.
herbs.
That's
Herbs are
absolutely
not
fine. You
supplements.
cannot eat
That's
animals.
something I
Nobody
really
cares
want to
if
say real
vegans
quick
not eating
because
animals.
pharmaceutical
It's that
companies
you're
are
pushing it
not
onto everybody.
making
So that's why I ask you.
wild-casted herbs.
Obviously, you want everybody to go vegan, right? So what's your ideal world? Everybody taking pharmaceuticals.
Okay, well, Sverige, here's another issue.
It has nothing to do with
Why don't you
pharmaceuticals,
answer the
man.
question?
Okay, well, no, here's another. Sorry, what was the question?
What's your ideal world? Would you want everybody to eat plants and take pharmaceuticals, medicine?
No,
Okay,
man,
well,
just do yoga.
vitamin supplements
outside,
are
meditate.
not pharmaceuticals. They're
Eat
vitamin
herbs.
supplements. They're not
This is the way
drugs.
nature
So,
made it. That's the
But the
way it is.
definition is drugs. It's by definition.
by definition. Okay,
because
so
you-
what definition of drug are you using?
The most common definition, because you would have to,
These
if
are
you're
not
trying to
drugs, people.
treat your
You think I
nutrient
take
deficient
herbs?
diet by
Herbs
taking
are not
supplements. A supplement
drugs. Pharmaceutical
simply means to
companies do
fulfill
not
something that is
have
not
anything
whole.
to
Seeing
do
as a
with
vegan
herbs.
diet is missing over 50 nutrients, you're trying to fill in the gaps. That's what supplementing means. And you supplement with a drug that's been created in a laboratory, and a medicine is simply a chemical that you use to treat an illness. That's the definition of medicine. And your illness is that you're nutrient deficient. That's why vegans take supplements, because they eat a nutrient deficient diet.
Everybody. Good.
Okay,
see
Sverige,
anything
are you
okay?
saying it's absolutely impossible to become nutritionally deficient if your entire diet is only made up of meat?
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think I can do
Okay, so if
more
I ate
than
nothing
say.
but plain white
Let's
chicken
just
breast,
enjoy the show.
I would not be deficient in anything?
No, you would have to eat fat. Because
Okay,
the
so
fat
it is
fat
possible.
already fat.
Correct. Okay, so then it is possible to eat nothing but meat and be deficient in something.
No. What do you? What
I just
is
gave
meat?
look. I just
No,
gave you a scenario
but
where you
what
could
kind of
eat.
definition of meat is that meat is the flesh of an animal. If you have to eat the whole animal, obviously there is no such thing as chicken breast. Chicken breast is that's not a natural food.
Okay. Okay. Well, Sverige, the
Has
point I
nothing
made
to do with
here
chicken
is
breast.
that it is possible
So, I guess
to
we're
set
just
up
gonna,
a nutritionally deficient diet
which
that
animal
only
parts
includes
are
animal
most
products.
nutritious.
Like,
and
look, it is difficult
why?
under
I have no idea.
like if you're following any diet to meet all of your nutritional requirements without any kind of fortification or supplementation. That's why all throughout human history we see people having vitamin mineral deficiencies, and even just deficiencies in energy. Like starvation has been an issue all throughout human history.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
when you don't eat.
Yeah. But my point
I have a
is,
strange definition of meat. Meat to me means a whole animal. It comes from me eat. It's just the old word of saying I want to eat. It's meat. It's because humans have always been eating animals. So your definition is chicken breast. That nobody has the definition of meat. So of course
okay,
it's just stupid.
okay, well,
Well, you can't be deficient in any nutrients if you eat animals.
okay, well,
Wow.
okay, let's
So
just
what about
agree
the
for the
animals
sake of
themselves,
argument.
right?
If we
What
followed
are the
your
animals
diet, it would be
deficient in?
impossible
If you eat
to
a brain
be
from a
nutritionally
cow that's
deficient in
deficient
meat.
in vitamin
Let's just
D,
agree for the sake of
are you going
argument
to be
right now.
deficient? I mean, why would you even take
That
that
doesn't
guess?
actually
Why don't you
mean
just
you're going
get
to
it
get
from the
healthy,
sun,
because
get it from
again,
nature?
you
I
mentioned
really don't
that we
understand
have to
this
eat
type of logic.
like large amounts of saturated fat, cholesterol, the adipose tissue of an animal, brain tissue. Well, all of those foods significantly raise your LDL cholesterol, which is the primary principal risk factor for heart
Exactly.
disease.
Slowing down the
Saturated fat
arteries,
is also
blood
causes
clots,
type 2 diabetes.
kidney stagnation.
So, okay, let's agree for the sake of argument that it's
This is
impossible.
such-
Sorry?
It's such. I don't even. It's just such a joke. I don't even understand how many
Okay, so
people
why
who
isn't
watch
that
your
true?
videos even believe that. Like, this is such old science. Like, pretty much nobody even in the science community believes it. There's like 20 vegan doctors that still believe that cholesterol is bad for you. It's just such a joke.
Okay, well, Sverige, based
Okay,
on
so
over
heart disease
200
is not the number
meta-analyses
one
of prospective data,
source
clinical
of
research,
acid.
randomized trials, and daily
Cholesterol.
randomization studies, LDL cholesterol has a incredibly strong link to heart disease. So
Thank you.
there's no arguing this.
Vegan
That's-
gains, exactly.
Whatever. You're going off topic anyway. The point was vitamin D, and you.
Okay. Well,
You-
Sverige, the thing is, I don't know too much about the topic of vitamin D, so
Right.
I thought it would have been. So look, you were wrong about your one statement, that it's impossible to convert vegan sources of vitamin D,
Convert
like
right here, baby.
ergocalciferol.
Converting that vitamin D.
Calciferol, I can't remember the exact
I never
name.
said it. I simply said there is no proof. I'm
Okay,
sure
well,
that
there is. I didn't link it on screen because my Chrome is fucked up right now, but I did mention the study, and they did find that D2 can be used to treat vitamin D deficiency. It raises the active form in serum.
Make sure you expose
I
50% of your
find it.
skin
What was
when you're
the-
outside.
how
That's the
did they
most
come to this
important part for
conclusion?
vitamin D.
How did they
3,
conclude
which is the
it?
most
Because I couldn't
deficient
find it.
in human beings.
Okay, so again, I'll leave the name of the meta-analysis: comparison of vitamin D2 and vitamin D3 supplementation in raising serum 25 hydroxy vitamin D status. So 25 hydroxy vitamin D, that's the form of vitamin D in serum where it's like the active form in the body, and vitamin D2 was able to raise 25 hydroxy vitamin D. Now, it wasn't as good as vitamin D3, but I think that's still a topic of contention, whether or not you can actually get vitamin D3 from plants. I'd actually have to look into that topic a little more, because you threw me off there. I just haven't studied vitamin D enough to give you a good answer. Okay, so the point is, you can get forms of vitamin D from plants.
Let's talk about karma. Let's talk about energy.
I know
Let's
you
get this
personally don't like supplementation, but that is a route to get vitamin D.
Let's expand it.
And secondly, I think it is worthwhile to point out that, okay, you can get vitamin D, and even if we were to agree for the sake of argument that, okay, if we followed your diet where, you eat all of these different brains, different organs, lots of fat, it would be impossible to be nutrient deficient in anything. Well, the issue there is you're eating animal foods that have been proven to increase risk of chronic disease. And one of the reasons why these animal foods increase risk of chronic disease is because they elevate your serum cholesterol score. So I would argue
obviously
that it would
Syringe
be
is
more
like
beneficial to
trying
follow
to really
a nutrient-deficient
make
vegan diet
the
where you have to
point
take
that meat,
supplementation,
especially in
but
the
you
whole
avoid
food,
these
like the
disease-causing
animal
animal foods.
itself, is the best way to go
Right,
compared
I understand that
to
you don't care or
a
don't like
chicken
it,
breast or
but
KFC, and
how-
I totally
how
get
did
that far, but that
how do you
does
see
not
this,
make
I-
either of them
this is
correct.
ridiculous.
I think
So,
food is still a
it's
very
in nature,
small
as human
component
beings, as
about
any
our
animal,
energy, and
any
we
animal
really
that
need
has
to
a natural
understand
diet,
that.
the only way for them to get it is to eat animals, right? Vitamin D, and that's what people do all around the world, obviously, but especially more so when they don't get sunlight for many months. How could those animals somehow slowly kill you, which is kind of what you're saying? If what you're eating are the animal cells, which are exactly
called
like your
hibernation.
animal cells,
Animals
Like,
go
how
into
can
hibernation.
nature is just so beyond retarded. How can nature kill you, even though the only way to get these nutrients is through eating the animals? But somehow there's this
What are
bad
the
link
animals
to
eating?
the
No one's talked about that yet.
saturated
What are these
animals
animals eating?
I just don't understand.
Where do you think they get all
the level
these
of retarded
proteins,
that your
lipids,
viewers,
vitamins,
feel
minerals
so sad
from?
for your viewers. Like,
How about we just cut out the source of the
well,
animal
I
and
think
go
vegan
straight
diet
to
is
nature? How about
Okay,
that?
well, I have a few things to say to that. For one thing, do you think it could be possible that there are benefits to eating certain foods and there are also negatives to eating certain foods?
no, absolutely not. The natural human diet only has benefits. There are zero. There's nothing bad whatsoever about it.
Okay, well, the way
Silly.
evolution works,
Man, so
it's
we gotta
basically
really
an
get this
attempt
moving here.
to
This is
just
honestly pretty
improve
boring.
survivability. Just because we've evolved to eat certain foods, like let's say for the sake of argument, we evolved to eat meat, it doesn't mean it's perfectly
opposite.
100% healthy
We're
for
eating
us.
meat for a long time, now we're evolving to
look at
eat
what's happening
plants.
to pandas
We don't
right
need
now.
meat anymore.
Pandas have evolved to eat bamboo. Well, bamboo is extremely low in nutrition. There's only a certain type of bamboo they can even eat, I believe, and that's actually the primary reason for their why they're going extinct, pandas. So just because you might have evolved to eat a certain thing in a certain quantity,
Good point.
that doesn't mean your diet is going to be absolutely perfect for you.
It's called
A panda's
evolution for a
diet is
reason.
very very difficult for them to
adaptation.
get,
That's what humans,
adequate
animals,
amounts
that's
of
what we do the
nutrition
best on this planet
just
Earth. I
because
mean,
of
come
what
on.
they've evolved to eat. So do you think the same could be maybe the case for human beings where, possibly, through, like, we have to get certain nutrients through animal foods, but there's the caveat that if we eat too much, that, we increase our risk of chronic disease. Do you think that could be a possibility?
Panda eating bamboo is similar to how vegans eat only plants because they have a carnivore's digestive tract, so they should be eating meat.
Wow, carnivore's digestive tract. Have you seen animals? Did you hear what he just said? Think about it. The digestive tract of any animal and a human being are completely different teeth structure, completely different GI tract. That is insane to compare. Even the panda, chimp, it doesn't matter. We have completely different digestive tracts, enzymes, intestinal. That is very silly.
So what you're saying is that so what you're saying is that we are now switching to eating only plants and taking pharmaceuticals. That's evolution to you.
Okay, no. I don't think you're understanding my argument. You're saying if you eat a natural diet, it has to be 100% perfect, not cause any disease at all. Well, what I'm saying is there are positives and negatives.
Where do those diseases come from? They come from your environment. Not all of them come from the food.
To your diet is that it does. It is being
This is just really way too far on like the food itself, and
main cause
not everything
of death
else.
worldwide. So,
hey, little souls, welcome you guys. Join the entertaining.
You probably believe that there's somehow miraculous exceptions to all of this, and everything besides studies, which are wrote mostly by pharmaceutical companies or supported by them, that is just
which are getting paid by the meat industry. No plant-based corporation is paying these studies.
13 right now is always butter, never margarine. He's been eating butter his whole life. Even if you say that that's anecdotal, blah, 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 just like all people who live a long life, then you would still have to say, fuck, you're living to 113 is pretty good odds. And
there's way too many variables in that. Butter has nothing to do with that. You need to look at your genetics, you need to understand your chemistry, biology. That's not a good statement.
Okay, well, the issue with that, Sverige, is there can be, like, weird outliers in a population. I had a neighbor who lived down the street from me. He was a very heavy smoker. He started smoking since he was 13 years old. He lived up until 84, which is longer than the average.
That's completely anecdotal. It doesn't make any sense. We could talk about one little stories all the time about one human being. It's completely irrelevant.
He died at 84. That's why he died prematurely, of course. That just proves
Sverige, you can probably bring up this article with a quick Google search. There's a woman, I think in India, who's a heavy smoker, and she claims to be over 100 years old. So,
adaptation.
Again, you can find anecdotal examples. I think actually one of the oldest...
But who knows when she's going to die? For example, other oldest living woman that was 118, I believe, from Italy, she ate raw meat and one raw egg a day or 2 raw eggs, whatever. So she ate raw animal foods. Again, I like the odds of living to that kind of age, and I don't need studies or anything. If I see people who live over 110 and eat...
I love studying the blue zones. All these people that are talking about are completely irrelevant. You just need to research blue zones and longevity. They are all vegetarian. The Seventh-day Adventist is a very specific blue zone category for this. All of them are 100% vegetarian and or vegan, and definitely the longest living people in the United States. And then Okinawa, Japan, in the blue zone area is by far in the United whole world, and we have a lot of people that are centenarians living over 100 that are definitely vegan, 100% vegan.
Smoking itself if you're just
smoked. Okay, well, why not?
I can tell you so many stories of yogis, 150, 200 plus years old, breatharians, people living on prana, light, sun gazing. We don't need to get into that.
Okay, well, how do you know that smoking has harmful side effects?
Okay, are you talking about commercial cigarettes?
Yeah. How do you know smoking has harmful side effects?
Okay, so for one thing, they add a sugar coating where at the end of the cigarette. So when you smoke it, you smoke the caramelized sugar basically, and you inhale that, and nicotine itself.
There's
is not
so
healthy
many.
for sure.
Tobacco is such a sacred medicine, and of course cigarettes are bad, but you can't compare that. You can't say like smoking, kills. What are you smoking? What kind of cigarettes? What are you doing? Why are you doing it?
I just told you.
Okay, well, I can find people who live over 100 who are smokers. Actually, one of the longest living people who ever lived, I think she lived up until 114. She occasionally smoked cigarettes. So, what's the evidence?
Completely
if
irrelevant.
You're going to rely on anecdotal claims.
Their lungs are being used as a tool.
Food.
So what?
Conscious
It doesn't
breathing,
matter. It
meditation.
doesn't matter. These people
The question
smoke
is, it's
cigarettes,
like,
so
what are you doing at
clearly some of these
114 years old?
longest
It's
living
like,
people ever
what
live
did you
when
do
they
with your
smoke
life?
cigarettes.
That's
so
what I
clearly,
want to know.
cigarette smoking is good for you, right?
Are you joking or are you retarded?
No, I'm showing why your line of reasoning is flawed. You can't just rely on personal anecdotal claims. It's better to rely on large samples of data.
I absolutely can, because it proves that the food doesn't decrease life expectancy, and I don't care.
How's the audio? Hopefully the audio is good. I'm trying to adjust the levels for you guys. Get it all dialed in.
Look, who cares
Got
about
4 people on the
smoking?
live stream. Thanks for being here. Love you guys.
I found people who are some of the longest living people on Earth, and they smoke cigarettes. So obviously, smoking cigarettes isn't really harmful.
Just gave you some
It
love.
has nothing to do with food, so that proves nothing. You could also say that they go out for a walk and whatever. It has nothing to do with food.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't have anything to do with food. Clearly, smoking is a healthy activity because I can find some people who are living over 100 who are smokers.
Yeah, you can claim that. Sure.
Zero logic.
No, that's the same exact reasoning you're using. I
Yeah.
can find people who are living a very long time.
VEGANGAINS is smart. He's got
That's
this,
your reasoning.
wit
Well,
to
I can find
him.
people who are
He's very
living a very long
witty,
time
and he's
smoking
really
cigarettes.
like on top of it. So it's just kind of fun to see him with these comebacks. I think Serena is just getting the same old point,
Meta-analyses, randomized
beating it on the head like
trials.
a hammer at this
Smoke
point.
doesn't increase longevity. There's zero proof for it. Whereas you're comparing food with smoking. You create hormones, you create cells by eating food. You need saturated animal fat and cholesterol for one thing. This is why all of the longest living people eat those high animal fat diets. Smoking does nothing like that, so you have zero proof.
Okay, well, the longest living population on Earth is the Adventist vegetarians. They have the longest average life expectancy.
That's right.
The longest living ones are the fish eaters. I really looked into it.
Okay, well, they had the lowest risk of all-cause mortality, that's true. But you're only talking about, what was it, like 1.2 years?
The blue zone studies, guys, you really need to do your research on the blue zones.
I know many people from these groups, and a lot of them eat meat. I would rather than look, if you want to talk about civilizations and whatever, then I would look at all of the blue zones and all of
If
them.
you really want to do your research on this, guys, you need to research the Hunza people in northern Pakistan. 150, 160 years old, 170 plus, women having babies at 100 years old. I mean, this is very, very real. It's happening in northern Pakistan by the Hunza people. They do big fasts. They go on apricot kernels, goji berries, superfoods. They have real blue crystalline spring water. They do a lot of detox and fasting. The vitamin D thing that they're going through with the winter is completely irrelevant because in the winter time we didn't have food. We didn't store food. So we actually had a way to fast, what we call fasting or meditation. That's what you did organically because you didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice to go somewhere or do anything because it was cold and you had to basically hibernate. So that's what the Hunza people do every single year. There's a lot of these hunter-gatherer tribes that are still living on this planet, just like hunter-gatherers did millions of years ago. And those are actually the healthiest people on this planet. The Aborigines in Australia, the Incas in South America that did not get dominated by the British Empire, and we also have, what can I think of, Okinawa, Japan. There's these little pockets, like I said, we got northern Pakistan, Afghanistan, these people that retreated to the hills and never got conquered by, other humans, and that's why they're living so long to this day. That's why they have such high vitality in their life.
Cherry pick a country, not really look at their whole overall diet and lifestyle and say, oh, well, they're doing this, so obviously that's healthy. That doesn't really make any sense. So if you're going to claim that, their really high pork fat diet is great for them, well, then why don't you show some granularity to the data set? Can you show me evidence that the people in Okinawa eat the most amount of meat, the most amount of fat from pigs, live the longest, have the lowest risk of disease.
They're eating way more than just that, guys. That's so funny. You can't just say one thing like that. Woman living 114, you can't just say, oh, she eats eggs and has 2 raw eggs a day, and that's what's curing or making her live to be 114. I mean, come on. She's doing way more in that 24-hour day than just eating eggs, right? I guarantee you she's got a happy family, she's got people, she's got relationships. You need to address more than just what's going on with the food.
So you can't just cherry pick certain things and say, oh, look, they're eating a lot of pig fat. That must be...
Exactly. Thank you, VEGANGAINS. That's exactly what I just said.
The plants they're eating. Why isn't it the type of medicines they use? Why isn't
because they eat very few. Because they eat very few plants. How could that be anything?
Okay, Spirulina. Like, the point I'm making is you're cherry picking...
Remember, this guy's charging like 200 euros. Syringe charges 200 euros for health coaching. So remember that, guys. 200 euros get you this kind of advice right here from Syringe.
People who are eating more pork fat, more pig fat, they're living longer than the people who are eating less and eating more plant-based.
How is it not evidence that if the people eat those foods and they live long, like how is that not evidence?
Okay, well, Spirulina, again, like there are many, many factors that are involved with disease prevention, longevity. There are genetic factors for longevity, absolutely. Like, again, the Mendelian randomization, like the European Atherosclerosis Society consensus paper I sent you, they looked over meta-analyses of Mendelian randomization studies. If you look at the Mendelian randomization studies, people who have genetically low cholesterol, they tend to just live longer because they avoid chronic...
Because your arteries, it's less tax on your arteries. Think about what cholesterol is. What is that doing to your veins? What is that doing to every single thing as far as blood and lymph going traveling through your body? It's way more than just cholesterol, having high cholesterol. This is the information system in our body that is being relayed to the brain via our nervous system, which is, again, tied to the adrenal glands and kidneys, which are the most important part that I see with iridology as far as addressing weakness and why people are not happy and they're not thriving. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I see every day, and it has nothing to do with consuming animal products all the time. It's usually stress and daily life, stuff. Our lifestyle in 2019 is not conducive for health. I mean, it's just that simple.
Okay, well, it's daily is 5-hydroxy vitamin D status.
So, what the results say?
In the meta-analysis?
T3 at the compared
T3 was better.
But do you understand what it actually says? Like how much it increased, how much vitamin D they got out of it? Nothing like that.
Okay, well, the results from the study, I only took a quick glance.
You can't just throw studies back and forth. I mean, yeah, they're helpful, but even like the China study, in my opinion, has a lot of fraudulent evidence in it. It's one of those things we can't just prove life based on some study.
Wait, sorry, what do you mean?
No, I'm just looking at any kind of numbers. There's just no proof, nothing. At the results, at the conclusions.
Okay, let me just
So
scroll.
it could be pretty much...
Oh, Jim Rogers, sorry, my mic is fuzzy and echoey. Bad sound. Oh, man. Okay.
That's completely irrelevant because we need tons of vitamin D. So
is the sound better? Worse? Sorry, guys, I'm using this microphone. I think I need...
Wait, what do you mean?
How could they treat their vitamin
find some headphones here.
If we have no proof that how much, even if it could somehow help, which I don't believe, it doesn't even show how much it would help.
Okay, I believe, okay, so...
Man, I gotta have some headphones. Sorry for the bad audio quality. I really gotta get mine.
But the conclusion of the study was that they recommend...
Is that better? Just adjusted the mic. Give me a thumbs up.
Rather than ergocholecalciferol supplementation, just because it's better at improving vitamin D status. So you have to take less of the supplement. Now, the point you were making was that you can't convert plant sources of vitamin D into cholecalciferol, which obviously you can use plant sources of vitamin D for elevating vitamin D status. I'd have to look through the paper a little more.
Sorry guys, I can't find the headphones.
I think this would probably be
I apologize.
discussed later, or just make a video on. I'll probably make a video on this, after the debate.
Yeah, because 99% of the D2 supplements, the plant ones, are made from irradiated vegetable oil. So again, it's just a way to find a molecule.
You need to get sunlight, guys. Get over this vitamin D thing.
So
Seriously.
there's just zero proof that any of the supplements work or that you can convert any of it.
Okay,
It's mostly echo and the fuzzy and a bit distorted.
As far as the study goes, it could be nothing pretty much. It could be 0.001.
Sorry about that. This is really bothering me now.
Lots of vitamin D. So you have absolutely no proof that you can treat vitamin D deficiency with vegan diet supplements. You need animal foods.
No idea. Too much baby stuff. Sorry.
Okay, I think the vitamin D discussion should probably be put on hold just because I don't know enough about vitamin D. I'd have to do more research on the topic.
You lost this one.
Okay, fair enough. Look, I referenced a meta-analysis showing that you can use vitamin D to elevate, vitamin D status, prevent deficiency, which you can do. It's just not as effective as D3. As far as I know, there are plant sources of vitamin D3 in the form of calciferol. I'd have to look into how it's produced because you did mention some things I just don't know anything about. I don't really have a response prepared. So yeah, I'd rather just either maybe set up another debate about this, or just do a response video after the debate.
Can't find the headphones, guys. I apologize. Is the audio
just need
quality
more time to discuss
better?
the topic.
All right. I would like to also discuss
God, everyone's
vitamin D.
complaining about the microphone. Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
don't
so
know if you've seen
sorry.
the studies that I linked, that there's people who have these mutations, as we talked about in the last debate a little bit.
Gotta make some adjustments here.
And then you were saying that there's supplements, but again, it's an animal.
Is that better? Mic check, mic check.
There's any source of it? Where
No,
you could
How's that?
So there's vitamin
better, everybody?
and there's recently
Doing some adjustments on the mic right here. It's way better than the
beta-carotene from
microphone that we're
and
using
then they add
online.
an enzyme to it which converts it into
So I apologize for the audio quality. I'm
again,
stand nice and close to the mic like this.
Deficiency is widespread because they pretty much only eat rice. They've used vitamin A supplements to treat deficiency, so it is an effective way of treating deficiency. Now, the issue here, Sverige,
wait, where's the proof of
A little
that?
bit better.
what?
That they can treat a deficiency?
The proof that you can treat vitamin A
There
deficiency.
we go. Hopefully the mic's good right there. I can't have my
Yeah, but
can't find my headphones right now. I apologize.
Okay.
Maybe bad audio.
But
But we're just gonna watch this. We're gonna get through
you
it.
take high doses.
This is kind of entertaining. There's really not a lot of action here. No points are being made. No real criticism of any kind. Obviously, plants need to go. Especially fruit. Nobody talks about fruit or anything. They're just going back and forth with studies, and it's really relevant.
Which looks similar to vitamin A because it's a similar molecule. That's it. So you can treat the vitamin A deficiency with supplements.
Okay, let me see if I can bring up a study on vitamin A palmitate, and I'll see.
Is that better? Okay, Holly said the audio is better, so we're good. Wow, okay, now that's really bad. Listen to this audio quality, it's terrible. I'm all fuzzy. So, sorry.
It's just that stupid stat.
Stupid what?
It's that stat that turns over you.
I don't think so. I think it's the... Well, okay, I just don't have headphones, so I can't. It's okay, we're... Yeah. Man, the audio quality. Sorry, I just checked the audio quality on here, guys. It is terrible. I apologize. I would just pull this mic out right now, but that's not going to help. So, let me try a few more things. Is that better right there? Sorry for the technical difficulties. Give me like 2 minutes.
Treatment of vitamin A deficiency, retinopathy with sublingual vitamin A palmitate. So they used vitamin A palmitate. I'm assuming it's in a liquid form. They dropped it underneath your tongue, and it's basically absorbed through the skin. It's sort of like a sublingual
Mic check, mic
supplement.
check.
I think they also have sublingual vitamin B supplements. So,
Okay, yeah, go on.
okay, so basically, if you read the study, I'll just say it out loud again. Treatment of vitamin A deficiency,
Man, this mic is
retinopathy
terrible.
with sublingual vitamin A palmitate, and basically
I'm just
she
gonna pull it.
had retinopathy. Let me just quickly Google what that is exactly. I'm assuming it's like night blindness. Retinopathy is any damage to the retina of the eyes, which may cause vision impairment. So this has something to do with blood flow to the eye, and it was caused by vitamin A deficiency. And her vision
Alright, is that
returned
better?
to normal
Get rid of the mic.
after supplementing with vitamin
Sorry
A
for the bad audio
supplemental
quality.
supplement for 5 months.
Yeah, so where does it say what kind of supplement? Is this not what you
Vitamin A palmitate.
Oh yeah,
Sublingual vitamin A palmitate.
yeah. Even if it is, then it doesn't mean that that's the one that you're talking about, the vegan one.
I just told you it's vitamin A palmitate.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. That's the vegan form of vitamin A. I could be wrong, but I'm
Better-
pretty
better without
sure
the microphone?
it's a form
Is that
of-
better,
So
everybody?
it's just a case of you not knowing what you're talking about, same as vitamin D. You just
Okay,
maybe
well,
it could be wrong, maybe blah blah. I don't really care about human health. It's just whatever. It may be, yeah.
You can't see me though, huh?
Okay, so Sparridge, this is a case report where a woman had vitamin A deficiency and it was cured with treatment of vitamin A palmitate, which is a synthetic form of vitamin A. So you claimed you cannot treat deficiency with a supplement, and there's a case report where
Better.
I'm not even talking about that. That I would have to read. I'm talking about your supposed vegan supplements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just told you, I could be wrong, but I think most, if not all, vitamin A palmitate supplements are vegan. I'd have to look into that, but as far as I'm aware, most, if not all, are
Am I
vegan.
there yet,
So,
guys? Are we there?
okay, Sparridge, the main issue here is you can talk about like low conversion rates, genetic
There we
mutations
go.
that make it harder
We're
to
back.
get vitamin A, whatever. Do you have any evidence that vegans have a higher rate of vitamin A deficiency compared to meat eaters?
Hasn't been studied.
Okay, so then how can you make that
Really
claim?
irrelevant because if you have presented studies that prove that there's people out there, there's 50% of UK women who can't convert beta carotene to vitamin A. If your answer is eat only plants and take pharmaceuticals, then by most people would say
Alright.
you completely
Ditching
lost
the
it.
microphone.
Because
We're back.
Most people still will not want to take
Sorry about
medicine.
the microphone.
Most people only want to eat
Beginning of
food.
this
And
video. I gotta figure out all my equipment, guys.
They can get everything from plants, and you can't. I completely proved now that you can't get vitamin A. You can get vitamin. Many people have the genetic mutations. You can get vitamin A, and vitamin D for people who don't live in sunny places. You can't get it. That's it.
Okay, well,
Not
If you're
true.
not
Of course you
taking
can.
supplements,
Chaga mushroom grows in the Arctic.
okay,
You
well,
need it.
food.
okay, well, Sparridge, first of all, you have no evidence that vegans have a higher rate of vitamin A
Hold on.
deficiency in the
One
first
moment.
place.
It generally has been studied. So
Okay, well, wait.
you can do it one way or the other.
It has
If you-
actually,
But
it has actually been studied.
They have genetic mutations, right? So if that's been studied, then you can't say that they can get vitamin A if it's not found in plants. It's an
Watermelon
animal
juice,
vitamin.
everybody.
If 50% of UK women can't convert it, then they can't get it on a vegan diet by eating plants. There's no arguing here.
Okay, So here's a study, dietary intake and nutritional status of young vegans and omnivores in Sweden. You can look that study up. They looked at intakes of these vitamins and minerals and also status. So they drew blood from these people to look at their serum levels. If you compare so there's a table in the study where they looked at deficiency rates. The deficiency rate between omnivores, vegetarians, and vegans with vitamin A deficiency, it was the same. So,
Yeah.
like, based on the most recent research available, vegans don't have a higher risk of vitamin A deficiency. You also haven't really shown me any good evidence that, well, you haven't shown me any evidence, you just claimed this, that there are people who cannot convert any pro-vitamin A carotenoids into vitamin A.
So
I'd like to see research on that. And secondly, there are vegan supplements you can take which do work, and it's probably a little safer to take the supplement than eat animal foods because you can get the dose. You can dose very accurately.
So you never checked out the links that I posted in the last debate we had 2 years ago because I posted links there. Do you want me to post them now again?
Thanks for being
Okay.
on. Cheers.
I don't think there's any point because I literally can't use Chrome. If you want to screen share,
I'll post the same links again.
well, Spirulina, why don't you screen share so that you can just show everyone, and I can also see what you're posting.
Got to get away from studies, guys. These studies are so silly. Talk about real
So,
things. Talk
the
about
issue here is-
experiences.
I'm
Talk about
simply
what you're
gonna link
doing.
it
Talk
under
about what
it.
works.
If I may copy this video and upload it on my
Sure,
channel,
yeah, go ahead.
I will just like last time link it under the video.
Sure, go ahead. But the issue here is, you can talk about, conversion rate issues and whatever. If you don't have any evidence that vegans have a higher rate of deficiency, then you just don't have any argument.
I told you there's more studies, but especially the one about the 50% of the UK women. But also another one which checked out men that can't convert it at all. I don't need to have a study testing their vitamin A levels if it's already proven that they can't convert it, because they may still be eating vitamin A from animals. This is how they get it, from animal fat or from liver. And if they would go on a vegan diet, they would eventually die, but they would definitely get sick.
Eventually die from a vegan diet, huh?
Science.
Eventually die. 12 years. Right here.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't need proof that, because you don't need to check their vitamin A levels to know
okay,
they
well,
can convert it.
okay, well, Spirulina, I don't know how people normally eat in some of these countries, but I'd be willing to bet the vast majority of vitamin A that people get from their diet, it's from plant foods. It's from
100%
conversion
from
of
plant
vitamin
foods.
A carotenoids.
Vitamin A is
into
crucial,
retinol.
and it's easily assimilated from plants.
Well,
The other thing nobody's talking about is like digestion,
you have
assimilation,
This gene mutation that makes it impossible
things
for
that
them
are
to
actually
convert
going to
pro-vitamin A
promote
carotenoids
health
into
and
fully formed
longevity
vitamin A.
instead of
Then
giving
I'd
you
imagine they just
karma,
be at an increased risk of
diabetes,
vitamin A
heart
deficiency
attack,
to begin
increase your
with,
risk of
because
stroke.
a major
I mean, come
source of
on.
vitamin A, like they just can't get it. And secondly, I haven't seen higher incidence rates of like vitamin A deficiency in vegans. So this really just isn't a great argument from you.
But this doesn't, just because it hasn't been studied, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, it has been
Well,
studied.
it has been studied, and you just keep bringing up studies, so that's all the thing that you're going off of, you know?
Oh, is that the same one? Okay, I'm not sure if this is the same one.
But do you understand that vitamin A and B12, for example, also, which are obviously deficient in because you hear voices and you have psychosis and depression, is stored in the liver, which means that as a vegan, you can live off the stores for a while. That doesn't prove anything. If there is proof that...
So silly. Where are the animals getting
Also
B12? Where are the animals getting vitamin A from? Just cut the animal out and get it from the source. I mean, it's just that easy.
That vegans have a problem and they should not go vegan and eat an unnatural diet.
There's nothing more natural than fruits and vegetables, baby! Fruits and vegetables are the way to go.
Because there is no vitamin A in plants, you know that.
Okay, sure.
11/11,
So
everybody.
let's
Happy
give
Mother's
a
Day.
hypothetical scenario here where let's say I cannot convert any provitamin A carotenoids into vitamin A. It's impossible. So the only way to get it is from a supplement or through eating animal foods. Why would I want to eat animal foods, and what particular animal foods would you recommend?
Well, most people get it nowadays probably from eggs, because that's the kind of animal fat they eat. That's still sort of popular. And pretty much any other animal fat, because most people, as you know, also don't eat liver anymore as they used to. But it's an animal fat.
Okay.
Like most people get it.
Okay, so a few issues here. For one, these are all foods that are
There's nothing more toxic in liver. You can't say that like an organ from an animal does not store toxicity, and when you eat it, you're going to get that toxicity. So I don't care how these claims of being nutritionally dense. If you eat a liver out of any animal, a squirrel, a chicken, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're going to ingest the toxic load. What do you think the liver does? It processes toxin. It stores toxins. What do you think kidney stones are, right? Gallbladder stones. I mean, if you eat those organs, if you're eating animal, you're eating the stones, you're eating the toxicity, you're eating the heavy metals, you're eating all that junk. So I just don't get it. Why would you do that to yourself?
I could get my RDA for vitamin A from eating one small sweet potato.
Done. There you go. Sweet potato. Done. See?
How much you can convert. So because there's no vitamin A in sweet potatoes, right? So you're just guessing. And my problem is that you're playing around with people's health, because most vegans who are watching this right now, they have no idea that there is no vitamin A in sweet potatoes. They're just absolutely stupid, essentially. They're ignorant about nutrition, and they have no idea.
Ignorant about nutrition, coming from the guys charging you $200, 200 euros an hour to just eat brain and livers.
Made foods, potatoes, which are all cultivated. So you're talking about something that human beings have never been doing. They've been always getting vitamin A from animal foods. So
man, this is some real thick logic here. This guy, wow.
Okay, well, SVERIGE, vitamin A deficiency is extremely rare in modern Western countries, and that's just because of eating a mixed diet of of a wide variety of plant foods that are high in beta carotene and provitamin A carotenoids, and also access to fortified food supplementation. So it's an extremely rare thing to begin with. And you haven't shown me that vegans have a higher risk of deficiency.
Not true. So they aren't going to be deficient because they're getting it from nature. You just can't mess with that. It's just not going to happen.
Just assume that you read the study where people can convert it. Your answer is then eat only plants and take a supplement for them if they can convert it.
Well, yes, and there's two reasons for that. For one reason, the alternative will increase your risk of chronic disease.
What's up, Alice? Thanks for being here, guys.
Because, animal sources of vitamin A, high in saturated fat and cholesterol, among other things you don't want, but that's the main principal concern. And secondly, it's much easier to dose. You're going to know exactly what dose of vitamin A
get your herbs, get your supplements, guys. Get it from nature. Get it straight from vegetables, fruits.
Eating food,
you really need to up your game. Educate yourself. Do the research.
All right, then we can conclude this debate, because my whole point was that you can get what you need from a whole foods, plant-based diet. It's a nutrition diet. You admitted it twice now with vitamin D, vitamin A. There's many more examples, but I only need 2 examples, so that's it.
Okay, well,
anybody with a brain just saw that I won this debate.
Okay, well, SVERIGE, before we end, what is the main concern with eating a nutrient-deficient diet? What's the problem?
He just wanted to get his points in and get out. Man, this is crazy, man. This agenda, this elitist agenda that Syringe has is wow. Super toxic programming. I can't just fathom the amount of programming, the amount of meat and toxicity and blood. This guy drinks blood. Think about that, right?
Because a lot of symptoms, for example, if babies don't get it, then they simply don't develop as well. I'm all about optimal human health, and you're just kind of
optimal human health, huh? You're drinking blood, hitting women, stabbing people, and that's optimal human health. That's love. That's compassion. I mean, come on, brother. Come on.
Your religion of saving the animals, which you can't even. They die anyway. It's just absolutely pointless. And you don't care about.
We all die. The question is, what life are you living? Quality of life. Are you dying by some bolt gun to your head? Are you dying peacefully out there in nature, living as one?
Why do you lie?
No, you made a video where you said you crave human flesh, and when you were hospitalized for anorexia, you said you wanted to kill and eat the doctor.
Yeah, I've seen bits of the video where you lied about me, and you said that I was in the hospital because of what? Because of control or something. Even though I was in the hospital because of veganism. Like
Okay,
you completely twisted everything.
In the hospital because of veganism? What, SUPERFOOD? This is just lie after lie, guys. Wow, this is some toxic
That
stuff.
made you not want to eat, and then you ended up being hospitalized for anorexia. You didn't mention veganism in there.
It wasn't about anorexia at all. I never had anorexia.
Okay, well, people thought you were anorexic because you were severely underweight.
I can totally understand that.
Okay,
Very underweight.
by the way, there's a rumor going around that you stabbed a bunch of students. And
That's right. Call them out, Vegan Gains. Call them out.
And there's a news article with your name in it. Is that actually you who stabbed a bunch of students?
Somebody else's name. This guy. I don't want to name his channel. You can look it up. He made it up. Simply, I don't know from what. So I think pretty sure he was a vegan because there's a video of me going to actually my school where I went to, and the teachers were welcoming me, and then the comments like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why are the teachers welcoming him? It doesn't make any sense." And then the video is still up. The comments are put on hold. They're deleted, so you can't see the comments that clearly point that out. So it's just bullshit.
Okay, so that's not true. Somebody else stabbed a bunch of students in, I think it was Latvia or something, and they had your name, Gotis or something, or Gotis.
Gotis?
Yeah.
It's like Matt is like the most common name.
Right. Okay. So you didn't do that. I just wanted to ask because that's been going around.
You're just completely changing the subject just because you pointed out that.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that I hate
Covering up the lies. Covering them up. Cover up the
You
lies.
said you want to stun babies to death and so on. You
Okay, cool.
many times pointed out how you even I don't know if your wife said it or you that you don't want children.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you want to play video games.
No. So SVERIGE, you mentioned in a few of your videos that like one of your video titles was "Serial Killers Are the Real Heroes."
Yes.
I've seen a few of your videos where you
Call them out,
basically
Vegan
denounce the
Games.
idea
Call
of
them
human
out,
rights.
brother, and
You
get
should,
this
like,
dark
naturally make
energy
people speak
out
as,
of
like,
this
those are
man.
all
Come to the
the
light,
rights
SUPERFOOD.
you
Come
love
to the
me
light.
when you're
We
saying
welcome you to the light. Let's
Absolutely.
do this, brother.
Are you saying it's contradicting? That's just human nature.
Okay, so it's human nature to want to kill and eat each other?
Wow.
I never said that.
Okay, so it's human
Maybe I'm
nature.
making up something.
Okay, well, wait. So you're basically denouncing the idea of human rights, but you're saying you care about humans.
Yeah, of course, because those are man-made. If you care about humans and you follow nature, it's as simple as that. Because you're about malnourishing people and not wanting. You want to give animals rights and take away human rights to eat animals. It's
Has nothing to do with that. We are one. We are one with the animals. We are one with the plants. We are one with everything. Don't you get that? We don't need to consume them. We don't need to eat them.
That's it.
Well, SVERIGE, I'll just end this by saying vegans have the lowest risk of chronic disease out of any diet group.
Exactly. And lowest risk of
plant-based
heart
dieting is
disease,
associated
blood
with
pressure,
longevity,
you
at
name
least
it.
in the United States.
Yeah, cool
So,
story, man.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else you wanted to say to wrap up this debate?
Yes, to follow a natural diet, to eat naturally, because vegans...
Fruits and vegetables, baby. The 100% natural diet. God, do you think God really wants us to just kill everything? I mean, think about it.
That some can't recover from, and supplements do not work. It's a scam by pharmaceutical companies. They are
Herbs.
vegans and
Get your
making money
herbs
off
from
you. Get off
nature.
the supplements.
Don't
They're
do
toxic.
supplements and
Literally toxic.
pharmaceuticals.
Actually, when you take a B12 supplement, you get you create stress hormones because of the toxicity, and that's why you feel so-called.
Not all B12 is the same. I just don't like this washboard thing where it's like, oh, throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, not all B12 is the same. Not all iron is the same. Not all vitamin D is the same.
Vitamin C, it's spiky glass under the microscope. Supplements are never going to work. You're eating a nutrient-deficient diet and taking medicine. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and my concluding statement is a vegan diet reduces risk of most of our most common
heart disease, #1 cause of human death right now.
All cancers combined. It's associated with lower body mass, so lower rates of obesity, hypertension.
Exactly. Thank you.
It also reduces all-cause mortality risk. The Epic Oxford cohort, the Advanced Health studies, they show that vegans have a lower risk of all-cause mortality compared to meat eaters. And if you look at some of the recent research out of Switzerland, vegans don't really have a higher risk of micronutrient deficiency compared to meat eaters. B12, vitamin A, some of the vitamins Sparridge mentioned, vegans don't really have a higher risk of deficiency, and that's due to widespread use of
just gonna cancel everything that we talked about in this debate in the last final sentence, just to get my point across. This is actually funny.
And iron supplements, but vegans aren't at high risk of iron deficiency. And if you absolutely need to take supplements, it's better than the alternative of eating foods that are high in saturated fat and cholesterol.
Thank you. Or killing animals, karma, energy. What are you? Are you a spirit? Are you a soul? Or are you just this little self walking around killing things? I mean, really, talk about some bigger subjects here, guys.
Eating raw animal foods that have been proven to increase risk of chronic disease. There might be some drawbacks to a plant-based diet, like it's harder to get certain nutrients.
Veganism is not for the weak. This is for the strong, for the mind.
That would be my closing statement.
All right. Thanks for
Okay. All right, no problem. And I think I'll make a follow-up video to this discussing vitamin D, and maybe we should just have another debate. If I research the topic a little more of these different vitamins.
Get this debate on. Get the people out there. You guys are not doctors. You have no credibility. That's the funniest part. VEGANGAINS, I'm sorry. I love you. I love you, Syringe, but there is no validity in what you say. You're not a doctor. You have no credibility. You're just YouTubers. You know, I'm like, you got to actively get in your field and educate yourself. Studies on the internet are nothing compared to actively educating yourself on what works.
Okay, so that kind of sucked at the end because my Google Chrome just completely took a shit. I don't know if I can even read the super chats right now. Let me actually, I'll see if I can get my laptop and see if I can read the super chats off of there.
All right, guys. Well, I think that will do it for today.
So that's really shitty. Yeah, for some reason,
all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna put myself up on the big screen here. Get the audio off.
The issue is that
and I just want to thank you guys for being a part of the Infinite Cup channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing plants over flesh and blood. Thank you for being here. VEGANGAINS is an amazing person just spreading positivity, and you know, Syringe is obviously only going to take time for himself to prove his point. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for, you know, choosing love and compassion. Happy Mother's Day. Peace.